that my sound's coming through, so I don't have, forget who it was last time, getting on like 20 minutes after the thing started and wondering why we were all silent. But I'm going to bring up the agenda. We have a pretty simple meeting tonight. So
there you go. You jinxed it again.
I know I did. But, let me bring up the meeting agenda. Okay, here we go. So first items of business. So Brian is still unable to join us through his other what am I trying to say? Other items that he's been focusing on. So we don't have a secretary to give secretary reports, and we don't have secretary reports. So I'm hopeful we'll get that. That'll be addressed during tonight's nominations, that we can find somebody to be nominated for the secretary, so we can take that on. But the treasurer is here, Eric, and I was not able to do justice to your July reports a couple weeks back, so I was hoping maybe you could share and tell us what's going on, at least for the month of July.
Sure. Oh, it says screen sharing is disabled.
You know, after this is over, maybe you can fix that.
Sure.
Because I didn't mean to do that, but I evidently have set up the meetings so that it does that. There you go. That should be fixed now.
All right. It's going everywhere. Okay. So I don't have August reports ready yet. We didn't get the reports in from PayPal mainly. Those come within the first couple of days. So this is July's report. We were down 643.91 compared to the month before. Let's take a look at why. Let's look at this one. So starting at the top, we yeah, I think this is money going out and money coming in. So we yeah, that's just a bank account. Let's see what it was actually.
Well, I see 575.08 down there for a Cocoa Fest venue search. So I'm assuming that's the bulk of the 600 and whatever.
Yeah. I think I might be missing a report. Okay, well, that's all right. This is all the info's here anyway. So scroll down to the important bits. Yeah, here we go. So we had, I think we had a refund from, oh no, this is accounts payable. All right. So we had 12 cents in rewards, $2.12 in interest. We sent $50 to Tandy Assembly. I called it advertising because I don't think they're a nonprofit, so I don't think we can technically donate to a corporation. So I called it advertising.
Okay.
$9.07 for Microsoft. I think we got that canceled. So either we're getting a refund for that month or it'll stop this coming month.
Okay.
And then here's the bulk of our costs. Grant Lady came up from, where are you at? Kansas?
Kansas City. Yep.
Yeah. So we reimbursed them $195 in gas costs in Grant. Yeah, and $180 in meals. and $199.78 in the hotel room. So a little steep, but I mean, I don't think anybody was volunteering to do all the work that Grant was willing to do. So that cost is what it is. And then our website hosting, $12, and that's it for the month.
Okay.
I think I have a clear report somewhere. Maybe I'll generate one for our next month's, along with next month's numbers. But you know, all these details are available online. So if you want to see them, want to make sense of them, just let me know.
Okay. Okay, well, that's the July report. We didn't talk through it in great detail last month, so we didn't take a vote on it, but I'm happy to entertain a motion to approve the July budget report, treasurer's report for the club.
I'll make a motion.
Terry makes a motion, okay?
I'll second.
And that was John Mark Mobley seconding. Okay, all those in favor of approving the treasurer's report for July, please signify.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. And any opposed? Okay, treasure report is approved. And then the next items I have are Cocoa Fest updates for Grant. So I don't know, it's just a standing item. So I don't know if you've got things you need to update us on or not, but the floor is yours.
Just a couple things. Just let everybody know that I did put a post out on the website and also all the Facebook sites as well. Thanks, Grant B, for making the making the post. Greatly appreciated. But the hotel group discount code is out there, and that you can now reserve your room for $119 a night plus tax, or if you prefer the suite, you can get $134 plus tax.
What's the difference between the, I mean, I probably should know this, but between a room and a suite?
So a suite has a pull-out sofa, wet bar. It's like the size of 2 rooms versus 1.
Oh, got it. Okay.
So, so a couple things that I need assistance with is we need to come up with a theme for this year's fest. So if anybody has any great ideas, let me know. And then the other thing too is I need to know if the club is going to be considering subsidizing any of the meal costs this year for the dinner. So
I would prefer we not. I feel like we did in the past because we had already in 2019 when we put the 2020 price together, we were figuring that we were going to be at Heron Point, and so we were like, okay, it's $20 or whatever, and we'd already started accepting funds for the 2020 show, and then we couldn't have it at 2020, and then of course in 21 we had to move the venue, and the cost of the meal was more than $20. And if we'd have known that, I remember some of you may remember that conversation. We were like, well, should we change it? And then we were all like, oh, that seems kind of wrong. People have already signed up and paid $20 for a meal. And then what are we going to do? Go back and say, oh, sorry, it's really 26 or whatever. But I feel like we have a clean slate now and we haven't promised anything to anybody. And right now, at least this first year, I'm a little bit, I wouldn't say concerned, but I'm a little bit being conservative about how much money, where all the money is going to come from to pay for the venue and everything, because the venue is a little bit more expensive. So I guess my feeling is that, if the dinner costs X, then that's how much we should charge people to attend the dinner. It may limit the number of people who come, but if it's not cost effective and nobody wants it, then maybe we do something different, like we go to an off-site space and rent a party room at one of the pizza places or something that's nearby if we want to do something more economical. But I don't know that we should. I didn't feel like that subsidizing of that was done because we strategically planned to do it. I think it was done more because we felt obligated to keep the price the same because we promised them to folks that in 2020.
Okay, great. I just want to make sure that before we put that out there.
Well, and I mean, that's just my view. And I mean, I realize I'm president, but I don't really even have a vote in some of this. So, other people may have other thoughts.
Yeah,
I just want to give some
I
of the
agree.
background.
I agree with you because we got to be very careful because this year we're kind of going blind in a new location with these new expenses, so forth. So I agree with you on that one.
And I agree as well. I think our previous years, the food bill was tied in with our rate in the rooms, but that's not happening this year. So
That's right. Yeah, and you're right. I forgot to mention that when we were doing it at Elk Grove Village, subsidizing the extra $6 wasn't really us paying the extra $6. It was just us not gaining the benefit of $6 per meal of paying down the venue costs due to the way that they would take whatever you paid on the food and just take it off of the bill for the venue. So it was an easy compromise to make because we really wouldn't pay an extra $6 out of our treasury. It was just we missed the opportunity to pay $6 less per meal on our venue. So that's a good thing to point out, Eric. I forgot about that.
Okay, and the other thing I was looking at too is I am looking at $30 table fees, no discount for additional tables. That's what I'm thinking right now. Being is that we don't have as many tables as we did at Elk Grove, so we don't really want to encourage people to, buy more tables at a discounted rate. And at $30 from what I've kind of seen is kind of the going rate at other shows as well too. So, any thoughts on that from the club?
yeah, I have some thoughts. I'd like to run a projection on that and make sure it makes sense in the overall cost. Jim, it sounds like I'm hoping your spreadsheet's already set up for that. We can just punch in the numbers and see what it comes up with. And then I would like to maybe try and get people to use the tables. So maybe some sort of, if it's not being used by Saturday morning, unless we've made prior arrangements, we can give that table or sell that table to someone else.
Oh, I like that. I like that idea. So that people that don't show up or they have something happen and they can't use the table.
And some people buy tables just to have a place to sit, and while I think that's fine, I think they should display something. So I'd like to see all the tables getting used.
Yeah,
well, we probably ought to. I mean, I agree with the sentiment. I'm trying to think how we. I mean, you don't want to go to folks and say, use your table or else, right? So there's it'd be nice if there be a way to put it in a positive thing, like affirm what we want people to do with the table. I don't have something on top of my head to offer just yet, but I'll think about that. I do think that's good though, that especially since we're we only have, what did we figure? We had effectively 49 6-foot table spaces.
38.
That's the new
38.
Well, that's 38 8-foot tables.
38 tables. Tables. Period.
No, I understand. But what I'm saying is, the 38 tables are 8-foot tables. When we previously sold tables, we actually sold 6-foot chunks of a table. It just so happened the tables themselves were 6 foot. So when I calculated it out, that means there's 49 6-foot slots that we can put in that room, right? They're 8-foot tables, but they're 6 foot, like 3 8-foot tables is 4 6-foot slots.
Okay.
So I think we probably ought to think about it that way, as opposed to, at least for the first year, because otherwise we're going from 62 down to 38 and the tables are bigger. And if people aren't thinking about that, they're going to put a spread out that takes 6 foot, but they're going to have 8 foot of it. So they're probably just going to not utilize that extra 2 foot of table. I mean, an 8-foot table is a really long table. But even if you think about it in terms of 6-foot chunks, that's still 49 versus 62. And so those blank spaces are going to be even more pronounced, to your point, Eric, if they bought a table just to have somewhere to sit.
We'll need special tablecloths or something to delineate 6-foot feet out of the tables.
Yeah, I haven't figured out quite how to do that, but I'm working on it. I mean, ideally, it would be that the place would have 6-foot tables, and then it would be easy. But they have what they have, and if you want to buy other stuff, then you got to rent it, and that's crazy. There's no reason to do that. So
we could do something like 6 foot for 30, and 8 foot for whatever that actually comes out to. What, an extra 20%, 25%? So 30 plus 25%.
I don't know. I guess
That means we might sell more 8-foot tables for the price that we want to pay, and people understand that they're getting a bigger than normal table.
Mm-hmm. Well, I guess back to the original statement, since we kind of got a little bit off track, but the ask about $30 tables and no discounts for second tables, that seems to make more sense given that we don't have as many tables and we need to parcel them out. You need better. I don't know that I necessarily want to go down the path yet like Tandy Assembly does, where they limit everybody to only one table. That's kind of challenging for, like, I'm thinking Cloud9 would have a challenge with that because they normally use 24 foot of tables in there, to do all their stuff, right?
Right.
I mean, mine's a little easier because my daughter could have her own table, so that wouldn't be such a big deal. I could just register separately, but still, there's some people that really need more than one table for their layout. So, oh, cool. Chris says an 8-foot table being $40 would be the appropriate price.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're saying $40 then for a table?
For an 8-foot.
Well,
but we should sell them in 6-foot chunks like Jim thinks. I think that's a good idea.
Because I'm thinking the key is people have, for years, they've planned out their table layout based on a certain size. And so they maybe can change that, but it's probably easier to do that at a show when they have everything set up. So giving them an option to pay for the exact same space they had in a previous year allows them, the operator, to bring their setup and say, okay, I know I can put the Coco here, and I can put my PC here, and I can put my, I don't know, whatever else over there. And then when they get there, they can say, oh, you know what? They would give me an opportunity to put something else on the side. Is it worth an extra $10 for me to do that or not? I don't know. It's up to them. So, but
okay.
But I guess what Eric was saying is, if we want to sell a full 8-foot table, then we should charge $40 for that 8-foot space.
Okay.
And like I said, before we finalize, and maybe people aren't in agreement with me, but I think we should run some projections to see what that comes out to.
Well, I mean, 40, if we charge the tables at $30 for 6 or $40 for 8, and we don't do any discounts, that's $1,500 for the tables in the venue. So that's last year, I think it was like it was maybe just about that amount, but then again, some people had discounts, so it was. But I'll check the numbers to make sure.
If that's the same amount, then we might need to raise prices more because this is going to be a more expensive venue.
Well, let me see here. I'm sorry, it is more, because even at $20 times 62 tables, that was only $1,240. So, and then not every table was sold at $20. Some were sold at $15. I just don't know how. I think it was 39 tables were sold at $20, and that's $780. And then 62 minus 39, another 23 tables were sold at $15. So that's about a little over $1,000, about $1,100. So we are $400 in plus if we sell all the tables.
Yeah, that sounds good to me then.
Okay.
And so, I think we've got a good auction coming up this year, so I don't think we're going to be hurting in the auction.
What else, Grant? Sorry,
no problem.
Took over.
No problem. So the other thing I have too, just to let everybody know, I will be taking some people over to the new venue on Friday. We'll be leaving the hotel at VCF Midwest and heading over there around 5 o'clock. So we're going to take some measurements. We'll do the table layout, get that all planned out, and hopefully get that all ironed out by the next meeting. So, and just to let you know too, we can rent additional tables if we decide to do that. So, and they're $12 a table. So,
Yeah, but the question I would have is, and that's fair, but how many tables can we put in that venue without having everybody be, squeezed in, right? You
Right.
need to have enough room and need to have, I don't know. You don't want it to be,
sardines.
just a little, yeah, right. So
Question?
I think your layout and everything and figuring out where the tables are going to go is going to be key to figuring out just how many tables we really can put in there.
Okay. Yep. And then like I said, hopefully Tony will be going with me to help me on that with his long tape measure. So,
Question?
yes.
Friday the 8th or Friday the 9th?
Yes.
Thank you.
Hopefully the same day I'll be meeting you over at John's to see that stuff. And Tony, do you want to give an update to everybody that's here about the auction items you received so far?
No.
Tony?
Because he got another big shipment too prior to this last one we talked about earlier. So,
Well, in the pre-meeting, I just to let you know, I have an 2013 Avalon, has a good sized trunk. It is full of boxed not new, but in the box color computer stuff. I'll rehash it from a quick memory. There's at least 3 Coco 3s in the box. There's a Coco 1, I think, in the box. It might be a 2. There's a Coco 1 with a cover with without a box. I think there's a Coco 2 or 3 without a box and a cover. There's a 502 boxed drive set. There's a CGP 220. There's all kinds of joysticks. I mean, all kinds of joysticks. There's at least one serial to parallel printer converter. This is just the Coco stuff and that repack.
So it sounds to me like, one of the things that might help on the auction, I mean, it couldn't hurt, I guess, is if we can get the stuff out quickly before we put it in the warehouse and take some quick photos of it, then like Grant B, or even you, Grant Lee, you guys can put that in, I think to Eric's point, prior to the fest. So folks can say, oh man, at 2:00, look what's going to be, kind of like those auction websites where they say, come on Saturday and there's this truck and there's this, tractor and there's this house and whatever. So I think that would be nice because sometimes people show up to the fest and they're like, well, I know there's going to be stuff on the auction, but until they get there, they don't even know what it is. And we may not have as much opportunity to put it out like we did at the last show, especially if there's a lot of it, because we didn't really plan on that second room. I mean, we could add it in, but we didn't necessarily plan on that second side room. So having some photos of it before we stuff it away in the warehouse for 6 months might be very helpful.
Yeah, and if we decide to get that extra side room, it's only $250 for the day, so it's not too terribly bad.
Cool. So what else?
And that then after everything's all set up, then I'm hoping we can have the registration going in Octoberish. So I was hoping that Tandy list guy would be here to.
Randy said he's tied up at work, but he was talking to me about the nominees. He's going to put that in this weekend. I don't know what the status is. I think what he's waiting on is the pricing. I think his thing was he couldn't open it up until he knew what a table cost. And so I think if you and he can connect and give him table prices and then make a decision around admission fees for this year. I'm assuming that we're going to.
You said free. You agreed with the free this year, right?
No, I don't know that. I don't. I mean, I wanted to do that. I'll be honest. I really wanted to continue that, but given the investment necessary to put the venue in, I figured you and your group would have to decide whether, whether that's because that's about $1,000. So if we or well, it's about $500 extra if we do admissions as opposed to just doing membership. So I'm thinking you and your team need to probably iron that out. What's the pros and cons? I mean, we did see some few folks come because of the show being free in 2022, but on the other hand, our show now is more expensive. So I don't know that I have an answer for you.
Okay. And then what about the membership fees? Are you going to increase those after this?
I think I don't know that I have a horse in that race. What does everybody think? I mean, it's part of me says I think it's a little bit challenging to increase membership fees just because the venue's changed. But if other people feel strongly about that, that's fine. I guess let us know.
Just something to think about.
Well, I think we should raise membership fees and keep the admission free.
I actually agree with that. I think that the charter for the club here is really to foster community, and members can bear some of that burden to allow other people to be in. That's how I see it. And it's an affordable membership. So.
Okay. Well, I think, so fees for Cocoa Fest, I mean, I would probably ought to vote on the table fees, but you probably need to come back on October and give us those final numbers after you've had your meeting, Grant, on whether you want to do a $30 and a $40 table or just a $30 table at, how you want to do it. And the admission fees, what do we want to do? We probably need to vote on all of that, but I don't know that you're ready to put something in front of us just tonight. So I think we should get that ready for October. All those fees though are kind of contained within Cocoa Fest. Membership fees are part of, that's another part. That's part of the club. That's invariant of whether we do Cocoa Fest or not. So I think that has to be voted on separately. So, and I think that's probably something that we need to get a little bit more opinion on around all the membership. We might want to send something out like Grant. You might want to put that in the newsletter and say, hey, we're considering upping the fees a little bit. Can people give us their comments on that? Because some people pay the membership fees, but they don't come to the show. So they wouldn't care about how much we pay for a table because they're not going to be involved in that. But if they want to be a dues paying member, then that amount of money would affect them.
Sure, I can put that in.
Okay.
For this issue coming up.
Okay.
Yep, and I'll have more numbers once we figure out how many tables we can fit into the place comfortably too. That would help. So hopefully I'll have
it'd be nice. It'd be nice to have that as we'll have voting in October. It'd be nice to have this to be voted on so we get those numbers finalized, and then you can have then Tandy List can kick out and you'll have, whatever that is, because it'll be the first of the month. So it'll be October, November, December, January, February, March, April. So it'll be 7 months for people to register. That should be plenty.
Yep. It'll be more than we had last year, so which will be good.
Right. Anything else?
Nope. That is it. That's all I had.
Yeah.
Comment.
Yeah.
Just for consideration, do not, for this year and maybe ongoing, do not include membership fees as a gimme for the fest attendance. Just break it all out for individuals at 15, since I believe it is in the bylaws, and we'd have to change the bylaws before we could do that. And that would make everybody expect to pay their dues at 15, whether they attend the fest or not. And if that's coming, that's income that's not going to be dependent on who's coming to the fest, and you capture everybody that way. And then we can figure out maybe $15 for, or maybe $20 for 2 days attendance at the fest, or just flat period, no Sunday only, or it's only a Saturday that you come Sunday, it's 20. You come Saturday, it's 20. And yeah, but I'm only here for 1 day. We started yesterday. I mean, there's plenty of businesses that say something like that. It's,
yeah, right.
Yeah, I checked the bylaws. It says it is $15, but membership dues for the following year can be changed at any meeting of the board of directors with a majority vote. Dues cannot be changed with less than 1 month's notice to the membership via the club newsletter or a special mailing. So notice of the dues shall be published in the newsletter within 30 days of the days dues must be remitted.
Okay. Well, I don't know that we want to solve it here, but it sounds like, Grant, those are some things to consider and like bring forth a proposal, I guess, in the October meeting for us to vote on.
Okay.
And then it sounds like if we want to up the dues, I knew there was something different. I'd forgotten that it was a board of directors vote that needs to happen. So the other stuff can be a regular vote at a meeting, and then if the recommendation is to up the dues, and we get positive response from people, if you put it in the newsletter, Grant B, then the board can pick it up in, let's see,
November.
it would be November. It'd probably be December, because I think November is going to end up right around Thanksgiving. So it'll probably be the December time frame. Still plenty of time, but that's when we would take it up.
Okay.
I think, Jim, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we could also make that vote in a general meeting if we wanted to.
Well, and we can always do, I mean, we can do a board meeting anytime. It's not like we have to only do them for 4 times a year. I'm just saying the natural time that we would automatically have had a meeting anyway would be in December. So if we need to have one before then, that's fine. But that's only if we're going to end up changing them, right? That don't need to worry. I mean, I'm waiting for people to tell me that we need to change the number. So until that comes forward, I'm not going to worry about it. But in any event, I mentioned the newsletter, and Grant B's on. So Grant, give us the lowdown on the next newsletter.
Well, I've got some changes just to include a cover and some really nice articles that Rick Ulan put together. I just, in the preliminary before the meeting, I was talking with Bob Swoger about this, that he and Rick Ulan have some contributions for kind of special articles. I'm not sure for the other, officers, it's kind of a shortened schedule. So if there is something that you're not wanting to include, I know we could put in the financials that we have for the Treasury notes, but if there isn't something, we have plenty of news. So if you can get them in as soon as possible, I'd like to have the nominees here that are going to be available published in the newsletter. And I'm off work tomorrow. I'm going to do some fishing in the morning, but I'll have the rest of the day to continue to work on the layout. I hope to have it ready to review early next week so that we can get it published.
The only thing I'm thinking is and because I forgot to tell you that one of your jobs was to remind the president that he needs to send in his thing for the newsletter. So because he's always procrastinating, but I know I've got a president's plate and I need to send you, and I'm assuming that Eric's got a webmaster update and the treasury report. So, we're bad guys for not getting that stuff to you. So we'll get that to you in the next few days. But I don't know that if you've got what you've got with the articles and the news, I don't know that the club has anything else other than those standing items, the president's piece, and of course we won't have one from the secretary because Brian's unable to do that, but treasurer, webmaster, president, and there's usually one from you,
and the
editor. I think those are the only pieces that I would say it really would be important to get those in. So, and that's our fault, not yours, but if you could just nag us a little bit, we'll get them into you.
Yeah, no worries. I did make a note in the Discord newsletter channel asking for input from people, but I can follow up with direct emails too, just to remind people.
Yeah, I saw that, and so I do know that I have to bring it in, but sometimes it turns out I'm sometimes a little bit simplistic, and so sometimes it's a one-line email to Jim saying, Jim, I need your license plate, and I need it like yesterday. So, because I will get it to you, but I'm always behind. So, anything else around I know you're wanting to get that out next week with the nominees in it.
Yeah. I I'm switching from using Word to one that gives me a little bit more flexibility on layout. It's going to also give me a little bit more control of the typeface, the type and spacing and alignment. So it's just taking me a little bit longer to get that hammered down, but it will be smoother going with future issues. And in Scribus, it has sort of like how Word has their character and paragraph styles. It has those kind of characteristics. It's just more attributes that you can have control over. And when that's ready, I know that Salvador was wanting to be able to know how he can use that to kind of help get the news even in form before he submits it to me.
Got it. Well, I mean, something to note for everybody who may or may not know this, but Scribus is open source and it's a free piece of software. So anybody can download it and have access to the tool, right?
Right. And it's it's open source, cross-platform. It's Windows, Linux, Mac. You could get the source and figure out how to run it on another system, but
so at the very least, I think everybody has an opportunity to get the tool. It doesn't cost anything, and then they'll have, if they need to author something and they want to put it in that layout, they can. But you can also accept things in regular formats like Word and stuff, right?
Yeah. The joke the last meeting we had was you're going to start sending it in. I can't remember some of the obscure Cocoa formats that we had. I'd prefer it in some modern formats because I'm not doing the layout on the Cocoa. But text, plain text works. But if you have some formatting you need, Word, real RTF, the rich text format, I'll take most things. And if I have any issues, I'll let you know.
Okay,
cool. And I just want to say thanks again, Grant B, again for your help on getting the post up for the Cocoa Fest hotel.
Yeah, sure.
And also he is making a handout for us to be handed out at VCF Midwest at our table too as well. So.
Oh, geez, that is such a cool idea. And I kicked myself last year for not doing that because Cocoa Fest was like a month after after the VCF Midwest, and we forgot to make flyers and stuff up. So yay. See, and it's another year passed and I forgot we were going to do that. So geez.
Yeah. Well, it's gonna work out pretty well. I think one of the things we were gonna have, if I'm correct, Eric, and if that Raspberry Pi is going to be set up and configured, so it'll be there. Is that correct?
Yeah, I'm just waiting for the monitor to come in. The Raspberry Pi is here. It's having issues connecting with my monitor, so I just put it aside until the new monitor gets here. And then I'll have it all set up. So assuming that arrives safe and sound in the next few days, there should be no problem.
Great. What I was gonna do on the flyer was just include a QR code, because these are going to be paper copies that somebody on their phone at the fest could just snap it and get onto the Tandy list, or look at the Cocoa Fest announcements that we have on the website too. So
do we have the? Seemed to me like you made a poster, Grant, for Cocoa Fest this year. Grant, Grant.
This one here.
Grant
this one. You mean the?
Oh yeah, it was the paper poster. Okay, because I'm wondering. Okay, maybe the question is for Tony. So Tony, didn't we have like a 2 foot by 3 foot or something vinyl Glenside poster or like a banner or something? Am I misremembering what we have?
We had I think it's 18 inches by 30 inches, and it's a banner. It just says Glenside Color Computer Club.
Okay.
And that marked our registration tables, etc.
So I'm wondering if we could find that. Maybe it's in the stuff we have at the warehouse. I don't know, Grant Leedy, if you could ask Jason when you ask him about bringing the auction stuff back. Maybe they have ability to get it in our box and see if it's there. Or maybe Eric, you could drop by there and see if you could find it, if it's easy to get to. I'm just thinking it'd be nice to have something at the front of the table to indicate who we are. You're on mute, Eric.
Yeah, I can dig it up.
Okay. Well, if not, I mean, we might want to buy one of those posters that you got, like Brian, you Grant, but the same size, but maybe turned so that it's landscape, and put, I don't know, Grant B, if you guys want, or Salvador, maybe you guys put something like Glenside Color Computer Club with the, something or other. I might add a little bit to our table just to make it stand out.
Can we get that printed up at FedEx? Do they do those in the same day?
There are some oversized color posters. They're paper. I don't think they do their vinyl ones on same day, but they may. I haven't done that before.
Those were originally purchased through Signorama. So if that chain is still operational, that's where they originally came from. And they usually had grommets in there to be able to hang them from.
Yeah. I mean, it's not earth shattering, but I've always thought that we should have a vinyl or something with grommets, kind of a sturdy, not going to just get torn up every year banner that we could put in front of the registration table, or that we could put on the wall, like at the new venue, and say, this is Cocoa Fest, like right on the door or something. And then if we're at VCF Midwest, and then when we're at Tandy List, we could put it on the front of the table so people immediately know that, it's us. And just kind of but the key is that the banner needs to be something that's not tied to a specific date, right? It can't be the 31st Cocoa Fest, right? It needs to be something that we could reuse because we want to reuse it. We don't want to just make a new one every year.
Well, I guess that banner is in existence. We just need to find it.
Okay. Well, good. So maybe Grant, you can help us locate it before the show. Grant Leedy.
Okay.
Okay. Grant B, anything else on the newsletter?
Other than if people for the next issue that'll be coming out after September, if you have any interest in submitting either a short program article, some summaries of things that you've done, I'm always open to having some write-up on people's experiences or projects that they're working on. I think it's helpful to have those in the newsletter that are kind of current projects that we can capture as kind of a historical, hey, this is what we're doing now. We post things on the web, and the sites can come and go over time. But I think these newsletters are going to be something we have as an archive to really look back on. So
cool.
Just any future submissions for anyone who's interested.
I would recommend putting a article or putting a thing on the website, and also putting a Facebook post up. Sorry, Salvador, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah, it's all right. Just a question for Grant regarding the newsletter. So, okay, I have the news all just about ready. What is it that I can send to you so that you can put it into the Scribus? Can I send you a Word document?
You can send me the Word file. I can't remember. There are some import options that it lets me just import from Word. Otherwise, I'll open and copy and paste it. Okay. And yeah.
So it'd also be helpful for me not to really give it too much format, just to send in the text with the images. Yeah.
Well, if you have some, if you put the images in, I copy and paste them out. They can be separate. It was really helpful last month when you submitted that those images were with the article so that I could match them up. So if you want to keep them in Word, that's totally fine.
Okay. Yeah, because I do have them in Word. And it probably for me, it'll be easier at this point to just send you the Word doc with the text and the images.
Right. And as I build the template out, so it will be more of a usable template, I think then anyone who wants to submit, I can have different section kind of pages that people could use to kind of as a structure.
Okay.
If they're interested. Good. So perfect. Great. Thanks, Salvador. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I don't have any other committee reports. We don't have any old business this month that I'm aware of, but if there is, I'll pause for a minute. If folks know of anything that we still need to discuss from previous meeting.
Just one quick question. Are you still doing that stuff with Stevie at VCF Midwest to test out the camera stuff?
Yep, I am. I got to order stuff. I'm going to try to order it tonight, so it'll show up there.
That's all I had.
In all the years the Tandy list has been up, I still cannot add names to the Tandy list. You've got to get on his back.
Well, I will send him another note. I sent him a note the other day, and obviously he's not on the call tonight, but we'll ask Randy again to see if we can get that done. You and I both have told him. So, okay. So we'll go to new business. My main item in new business tonight is nominations for the 2022-2023 officers. And so I will open the floor for, what kind of nominations do we want to, does everybody want to do first? Do you want to do them president on down or treasurer on up or what?
Yeah, because we need a new president.
The Constitution gives that information.
Okay, which direction is it? Because I don't care. I mean, whatever it is. I assume it's president.
This is do president down.
Okay, so I'm going to open the floor for nominations for the 22-23 Glenside presidents.
I will nominate you, Jim Brain.
Okay. That needs a second.
Second.
Okay, so Roger seconds. I forget, do we vote on every one of these individually?
Second. Robert, hi. Excuse me, who's Roger?
Sorry.
I'm Bob.
I see R all the time and I'm thinking Roger. So
you're not going to believe this, Jim. When I first met Bob, I used to call him Roger all the time because his email is R Swoger.
I know, it's the same. I'm seeing it right on the screen, R Swoger, and I'm thinking, oh, it's Roger. Okay.
Yeah, and I felt terrible because he kept correcting me and I kept calling him Roger. And, but yeah.
Okay. I think we just do motions and seconds, don't we? Or do we actually vote on every one of them?
We don't have to vote. We just need to nominate and second, and the person has to agree and be here.
Okay. Well,
in order to...
I am here and I agree. And so we will put that in as one of the candidates for president. And are there any other nominations?
Now, do you want to do it? It's a question.
I do, but I am also happy if there's someone else who is super excited about being president as well. It's not a turf war. So if there are another nomination for president, I think we should entertain that.
I would move to close the nominations.
Okay. Well, there's a motion to close the nominations for president. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right. So and so I'll vote. We'll take a vote on that one. All in favor? Closing the nominations for president?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Any opposed? Okay. Nominations for vice president are now open.
I'd nominate John Mark Mobley.
Okay.
I'll second.
Eric has seconded. Bob has moved for John Mark to be nominee for 2022-23 vice president. And John Mark, are you willing to accept that nomination?
Yes, I am.
Okay, there we go. Any other nominations for vice president?
Is there anybody that wants to be vice president besides John Mark? I mean that seriously, but yeah. Just checking.
Okay. Well, I'm happy to entertain a motion to close the nominations.
I so move.
Okay, Eric moves.
Second.
Grant seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Vice president nominations are closed. Next is secretary, open for nominations.
I'd like to nominate Grant B. If he would like to do that.
Okay.
At this time I can't.
Okay.
I won't be able to. I need to make sure that I'm capable and able to do the things that I'm wanting to for the club.
So I think it's important to note secretary doesn't have a lot of responsibility. It is nice if they can join the meetings and take notes and then obviously publish those notes in a document so that we can review them in the following month and approve them. The notes, the minutes are useful. I know Bob and I both have went back over previous minutes to see when we approved something or when we decided on something. Eric and I have done the same thing. So it is a useful position. It doesn't take a lot of effort.
Yeah, it's actually very hard to deal with business without having those notes.
So any nominations?
I see Terry Steggy is here. With Terry, would you like to be secretary?
I don't think I can this year. Sorry, guys.
Okay.
Chris Hawks. You want to be secretary?
Just got to
I
type.
can barely write, so probably not.
Well, we don't have to write. You just got to type. Can you type?
No.
Oh, well, okay, then that might be a little
Well, I can
challenging.
type like this.
Well, that would work. If you're interested, I'm happy to have you.
No, I don't think I can put the time into it.
Okay.
How about Grant Lady?
I think I got my plate full already with Cocoa Fest.
You talk about typing during the meeting. Probably don't have much other responsibilities.
Well,
Tony Pedraza? Salvador, anybody? Silence.
okay.
You wanna
well,
wait?
I'm going to have to move on.
Yep. I'm afraid we're going to need to close the nominations on secretary. We may have to.
Oh, no.
Hmm?
We're not closing the. No, we're not doing that.
Well, we have to find someone to nominate.
That's right, but we've got until voting time to nominate.
Okay. Well, that's fair. Well, then I will leave that open and we will move to the treasurer nominations.
Jim and everyone, what I'll do is include in the newsletter that we're publishing with the nominations. This continues to be open. Any interested parties, please let you know if there's a nomination, if they'd like to be nominated.
Okay. That's fine. Treasurer.
Good idea.
Nominations for treasurer. Anyone?
Eric Canales?
Well, are you moving? Are you making a motion?
Yeah.
Okay. I have a motion from John Mark for Eric Canales for treasurer nomination. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay.
If Eric wants
well,
to do it, that is.
I'll do it.
Okay. I'm going to put Chris down because he beat you to the buzzer, Grant.
Okay.
So I have a proper motion and a second for Eric to be a nominee for treasurer for next year. Any other nominations? Okay. Then I'll entertain a motion to close out the nominations for treasurer.
Again, we don't have to do that.
Well, that's true. That's true. And if you don't want to, that's fine.
I think we should close them for everything but secretary, just to make things easier on Randy.
No, there's actually going to be no voting, will there be?
Well, right.
Everybody's running unopposed.
Everybody's unopposed, except for secretary, which I'm hoping we can find at least one person. So I'd say we should close it. I guess maybe it's a conflict for me to say we should close it, but it's my opinion we should close it for the 3 positions we have filled.
Yep, I agree.
Well, I think Eric probably can't move. So if somebody wants to close it, then somebody else is going to need to move it.
I move to close it. for the secretary.
Okay. And a second?
I'll second.
That's Grant.
Excuse me. He said,
Yeah.
Close it for the secretary. No.
Yeah, you mean close it for treasurer, right, Grant?
Oh, I mean, I'm sorry. Yes, my bad.
Okay.
So-
You didn't look that tired.
Okay, so I have a motion to close nominations for treasurer, Grant Leedy. I have a second. Is that true, Grant B?
Yes.
Second that?
Yes. I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, any opposed? Okay, well, then I think our task ahead of us is all of us try and find someone who is interested in taking on secretarial duties, so that we can have a full slate. I'm not sure how voting is going to go with the positions being unopposed, but I don't know.
Yeah,
John,
do you think we
Bob,
should-
you're on mute. So if you were saying something, we didn't hear it.
Well, I can't remember what I said, but
Oh well,
we've taken care of it in one night. That's not unusual. So
that's right.
Well,
that's fine.
according to the Constitution, it says if there's only one candidate nominated for a position, the candidate shall be declared elected by acclamation. I don't think we need to do a vote.
Okay.
That's my
Well
opinion.
then, no. I mean, if that's what the Constitution says, that's what I don't commit it. I remember reading through all of it, but I don't have it all committed to memory. So
Yeah, I've got it open. I don't have it.
got it. Okay. Well then, if that's the case, then since they're unopposed, then the 2022-23 officers for president will be myself, vice president will be John Mark Mobley, and treasurer will be Eric Canales. And then the secretary position, we have not closed out that nominations. We're still looking for nominations for secretary for 22-23. Okay.
Perfect.
So be it.
Okay.
If you want to read the Constitution, you'll find it in Logic Hall underneath Telewriter. You can read all about it there.
There you go. And Grant B, that's the Telewriter. That's what you need to be able to support
Right.
article submissions in Telewriter. Okay.
Well, I want to say that Telewriter can write it to a file that certainly Grant can read. He can read text, straight text.
Right.
So Telewriter is happy to. Yeah, Telewriter will print to a file, and that file can be sent to Grant.
Okay. Any other new business? I'm not aware of any, but I'm happy to open the floor. I'm opening the floor for any other new business. Okay. Well, hey, I still got done at a reasonable time, Grant L. It's only 8:34, an hour. I think that's not too bad.
Not bad at all.
That's right. Okay, so just as a couple, just remind people, really would like to have somebody nominated for secretary. So if you all could consider someone that we might want to have as the secretary, that would be great. And then Grant needs his documents from the officers, including me. So shame on us. Let's get our stuff in. And then articles for the next newsletter, which would be the number 3 newsletter. Is that correct, Grant B? The one that's not this one, the one that's
right.
next? Okay,
Yep.
So it'll be the 3rd newsletter of the year. And I think that was all that we had that we chatted about. Oh, and the 9th, if you're interested in checking out the new venue, on the 9th of September at 5 o'clock, Grant Leedy is going to be having a tour over there, correct?
Yep. We'll leave the VCF Midwest location around 4:30ish. So.
Okay, 4:30. Okay.
Can somebody pick me up?
Well, I have my van along. I can hold a whole bunch. 6.
There you go, Chris. Talk to Eric.
Okay.
I don't have any closing. Oh, go ahead.
A thought for Grant B. I had sent in 3 articles And my idea was to use the first two in the next issue and the third one in the following issue. That was my hope anyway. And I leave it at that because it's all up to Grant B to put out his newsletters as he desires, the way he wants it.
Great. Well, I'll touch base with you on which of the two are the ones that you really want, because I'm happy to include the content on a future issue. It helps the pacing. So that's it.
That's a great idea. I will entertain a motion to close the meeting, the September meeting.
Second.
So moved.
Okay. Eric moved and Grant B, you're seconding.
Yes.
It's okay, Grant. When I started in this, I'd forgotten. I actually did parliamentary procedure when I was in high school, but it's been so long I forgot that the leader of the meeting can't make motions. So
hold on here, guys. I just noticed that Tony Pedrazas just says something open for the Office of Treasury. Does that mean he's wanting to run for Treasury? Is that what I'm understanding there, Tony? Do you see that over there in the chat?
That already been closed. Never mind.
Okay. I just saw that. I was like, well, maybe we just missed it. I don't know if your mic was down or something or what.
Well, we
haven't
closed the secretary position.
Yeah. Yeah,
Well, we've got on the floor a movement to close the meeting.
We do. We have a properly moved and seconded motion to close the meeting. Okay. And I'm planning to take a vote. So, all those in favor of closing the meeting,
aye.
Signify.
Aye.
Okay. So, any opposed? Okay. Tony, the secretary nomination is still open. So if you are interested, we're happy to have you be secretary. So you give that some thought.
I am a lousy note taker.
Everybody's a lousy note taker. That's what's new. Okay, with that, that's the end of our September meeting. Just a note, meetings are going to be on the first Thursday of the month. So the next one will be October 6th.
Are you open now that the meeting's over to download logiccoco.zip and finish out your installation for full update?
Yeah, I can.